Siddharth Sedani is also with us. Siddharth, good to have you on the show. Thanks very much for taking out the time. Give us your own sense on how you would be playing the Yes Bank story. I mean, there's so much that's going back and forth. It's still weighing in on the stock, and everybody's asking, does it become a bargain buy right now, or is there more downside first?
Thank you for having me on the show. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, talking about Yes Bank, I don't think it's a great opportunity at the current state also to buy Yes Bank. Of course, the confusion is still going. The confusion is still going that when the CEO will be appointed in the January board meet. Over and above, whether it is further downside left, I doubt, because most of the negatives are there priced in. Once we get the new CEO and the CEO and the chief of the bank, I think then how the results are panning out, I think that thing which I would like to watch out for. So at the current state, I would like to participate with other private sector banks like of HDFC Bank rather than participating with Yes Bank.
Okay. How negatively do you think, Siddharth, the street is taking into the jet news, the fact that someone who was actually pegged to turn around the company has now stepped down? Because as we see, the stock is getting hammered. It's down a good 10%. Do you see a lingering impact of this news?
Definitely, dark clouds are not going out of Jet Airways at all. Of course, there was a blip which came that Tatas were interested. But overall perspective, again, for investment perspective, the entire airline space I would like to avoid. Of course, this is a negative news which we are attributing to. But overall perspective, still, if we talk about the financials and the balance sheet, still things are not that great to look at. Apart from that, of course, the recent fall in crude oil prices has been a little beneficiary for all the sector. But having said that, again, one can always take up this airline space as a trading opportunity rather than investments, because there are a lot of attributes which are volatile in nature, which are variable in nature, which is very difficult for investors to look at. I would say investment, as per investment idea in the airline space, it's an avoid.
So that, in short term, sentiments and news drive this market, but in long term, it's earnings which determine the direction of market. You are of the belief that earnings will drive this market higher. My question to you is, where are you expecting earning surprises on the upside for next couple of quarters?
Well, Siddharth, as you rightly pointed out, fundamentally because earnings are the mainstay of the market and that will only give the direction of the market. Having said that, we believe in coming quarters consumption will definitely do better. Some of the consumer discretionary space will do good. Private sector space, which we are expecting good set of numbers coming up. Some of the rural plays also we are expecting good numbers. Some of the NBFCs like Mahindra Financial, I think these all companies will be really doing surprise in terms of numbers are concerned. At the end of the day, let's not forget that next year would be a year where we can see capacity expansion also, because some of the fillers which are coming from the metal space, that is also coming. Along with that, we know that elections are due in 2019, which will propel rural incomes, farm incomes, so consumption will also move. So 2019 seems to be very interesting, and whatever we've gone by in 2018, I think it will be better off in 2019.
You mentioned about various themes, but you just took one name, stock name, which is Mahindra and Mahindra Financials. For our viewers, to make their life easy, can you take more names from the themes which you mentioned?
Well, in terms of, as I spoke about the consumption, one of the FMCG play, Hindustan Unilever, looks very interesting to us. The numbers has been very good in the Q2, 11% volume growth was clocked in. After this new deal which they have clocked in from GSK, Horlicks, I think this deal seems to be very beneficiary for them in 2-3 fronts. One of the front would be, of course, volumes. Margin expansion would be the second front where the company would be benefiting. So Hindustan Unilever looks in the consumption play very interesting with a target of 20 to 50. The second idea from the consumption and the retail space I would like to point out would be Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail. It's a turnaround story. We know Madura Lifestyle, brands like Van Heusen, Alan Solly, Louis Philippe has been doing good. Same store growth is strong. Pantaloons, however, there is volumes which is coming in. Same store growth will follow up in coming quarters. Aditya Birla Fashion as a turnaround story looks very interesting to us in retail, with a target of 239. In the banking space, which we believe the leader of the private banking space, that is HDFC Bank, which we are banking on with a target of 24 odd hundred. So we believe in these companies, and we still are positive in these consumption and private banking space, and we are adding up in our portfolios.
So that, do you think finally there could be a turnaround around the corner for Tata Motors? Because this has really been the most disappointing story on D Street.
Absolutely. Well, talking about Tata Motors at the current state, I still believe that there is a lot of time left for turnaround, because of course some of the job cuts will not bail out completely JLR. What JLR requires is demand and consumption, which we are lacking in China, for that matter, some pockets of Europe. Of course, Brexit is one of the reasons which JLR is definitely dealing with. Overall perspective, of course, domestic operations has been doing good, but most of the profits and revenue have been contributed by JLR. So of course it's a good idea to be in, but at least with a 3 to 5 year perspective, if somebody is looking for some turnaround, maybe in 3-6 months, I think there is a long way to go. In short span of time of 3-6 months, I think I am not that hopeful.
Right. Siddharth, what's your call on Midcap IT? It seems like there's a fair amount of buying interest coming in there. You know, even if you look at the fund flow data, allocations to Midcap IT have increased. Is that your sense as well?
Yes, Midcap IT looks very interesting, because some of the stocks like L&T Technology, which is a specialized company which is looking into the transportation vertical, those companies are looking very interesting. In fact, the numbers were also very interesting to, if you see 29-30% constant currency growth which they clocked in last quarter. I think that was something very great about any of the IT mid-cap companies. So mid-cap IT is better off than large cap. Large cap is more of generic IT, like of TCS, Infosys, which is something an evergreen in nature. But if we want to really create a good compounder out of it, I think mid-cap IT is the place, and companies like L&T Technology is at the top of the radar.
And very quickly, as the markets picked up some points, some momentum, I just want to talk about how Tata Motors has roomed almost 4.5% in the session. Siddharth, among autos, which is the sub-segment that you're betting on?
Well, Tanvi, in the auto segment, we are looking for passenger vehicle more, because looking at the sales numbers since 2 months, it's been disappointing, but we still believe that being a December month, you know, the depreciation benefit, I think there would be some traction which will be seen in the passenger vehicle space, and we believe again the sales numbers will rebound from the month of January onwards. So passenger vehicle is a space which we are very positive in the auto segment. Two-wheelers, again, it is quite volatile in terms of numbers, but since big festivals like Diwali couldn't pick up the demand, then we doubt that further demand can come up in maybe in 2-3 months. So we are less hopeful on the two-wheeler space and more constructive over passenger vehicle space.
Okay, that's the view coming in on autos, and Tata Motors is what Siddharth already highlighted about. Siddharth, also wanted to get your sense on you know, this spat which is going on with Kotak Bank versus RBI, the judgment which was handed out today, and why exactly is the market getting a little disappointed with that?
Well, in terms of fundamentals, there is nothing changes in terms of Kotak Mahindra Bank is concerned. Of course, little bit of equity dilution will be there, but overall perspective, I still believe since the overall scheme of things post the RBI governor resignation, new governor appointed, there are a lot many things are happening in the NBFC space, in the BFSI space. If I talk about from October, when we have seen in terms of liquidity crunch in the NBFC segment, so maybe market is not liking some of the controversies which are coming up. Maybe market is expecting some new thing coming up, likes of Yes Bank. But overall perspective, I still believe, although we don't have a coverage on Kotak Mahindra Bank, but we still believe fundamentals are quite intact in terms of financials. The company has been really doing good. CASA has been strong, advances are strong. So financially, historically proven bank and a leading private sector bank. So I don't think there is anything to worry in terms of further growth outlook is concerned.